G'day guys, this is Big T in the Rockarmor workshop again. I've got the 200 series behind me up on the hoist, and it's going to be getting the Rockarmor rear wheel carrier fitted to the vehicle. So with the Rockarmor rear wheel carrier, you've got the rear of the vehicle protected and you've got the sides protected, which is very important, as when you're off-road, one of the most common places where the vehicle gets caught is on the rear quarter. So the Rockarmor rear bar is going to protect the vehicle right the way around. With the Rockarmor wheel carrier, you can either have the rear bar protection without the swing away arms, or you can add the arms as you like, just the right hand or left hand, depending on the purpose that you're going to be using the wheel carrier. The bar comes built in with your LED indicators, LED park and reverse lights. Also comes built in with the high lip jack points on either side. Unlike other wheel carriers out in the market that run an 18mm stub axle, Rockarmor runs a 31mm stub axle. And that's just going to give you that allowance to carry a 35-inch tyre, your dual jerry cans all filled up with your fuel or water. On the sides of the wheel carrier here, you'll see we've got the extra braces on the side, right up in the corner and right around the bar. So that's going to give us the extra strength right around the bar. So if there is any impact, the vehicle is protected right the way around. The Rockarmor wheel carrier comes standard with this nice checker plate finish on the top, just to give you that anti-slip if you're getting up on the roof or using it as a step. As well, it comes with this cutout just for your factory tow bar. Once we fit the vehicle, this will be removed and our factory tow bar will be installed. So just to get started, I'm going to go ahead now, strip the rear of the vehicle. So with this, with the wheel carrier, it is a bumper cut. So I'll be cutting roughly where this light is down. So all that bottom section will be removed, and I'm just going to keep in the top section there. So I'm going to go ahead now, remove the factory bumper bar off the vehicle and get started. So I've stripped the rear of the vehicle now. I'm just going to get the bar ready for the installation. I've opened up the fitting kit. You've got a few brackets here. You'll see this little right angle bracket. So this bracket here will be sitting on the side of the wheel carrier and marries up with the 3 bolt points there. Now this bracket here is going to be holding the factory bumper bar back into place. Then you'll find these 2 brackets here. Now these are our side support brackets. I'll show you how they go on. So this bracket here is going to be bolted to our center support, mounted with two mounting points to our center support and 2 mounting points on the side of the bar. Then we have this bracket here, which is also a side support, which is going to marry up to the side of the center and up onto the wing. You'll also find these 2 brackets in the kit. Now they both serve the same purpose, but they're different year models. So with the Rockarmor wheel carrier, it suits the whole range of 200 series from the early to late. The only difference are these 2 brackets here. For the earlier model 200 series, I'll be using this bracket, which slots over the chassis and has a bolt which will secure it from the inside, and these 2 mounting points will be fixed to my wheel carrier. On the later models, there's a bracket which is fixed to the rear of the bar, where this bracket will mount and have 2 mounting points through the top and bottom and then fixed to the wheel carrier. So just to get started, just a little tip to make things a bit easier, I've laid out all my nuts and bolts on the table just so I'm not scrummaging through them a little bit later on trying to find the right bolt for the mounting point that I need. So you'll find that these really large bolts here with these washers, they're for our goosenecks on the arms, so I'll be using those last. We have the fine threads here, which are for the chassis underneath the vehicle, 2 for each side. We've got our bolts here for the rear bracket, our support rear brackets, and then all these nuts and bolts here, they're for the side support wing brackets. And then we've got our 10mm. They're going to go and just fix into the side wings there. So I'm just going to go ahead now, put my nuts and bolts into this bracket here, so the bar's ready to go. Just a little tip with this bar here, the guys at Aussie Off-Road have colour coded this bar for the customer, but all the Rockarmor bars come in a black powder coat finish, and it's up to yourself if you wish to colour code it with your vehicle as this customer has. Just let the guys know in store and they can get it colour coded for you. So we're just fitting the wool carrier onto the vehicle. So these arms are just going to go underneath the chassis, and the bar's just going to slide in, and the center part is going to marry up with the top of the tow hitch. Okay, so I've just set the bar in place there. I'm getting the rear brackets. So I haven't tightened up or installed my bolts on the rear as yet, just so I can get this bracket in. So I'm just going to slide it over the chassis and mount it onto this rear support. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my two mounting points on either side of the chassis. So I'm just installing the rear reinforcement bracket. So this is for the earlier model 200 series. It's just going to go over the chassis as so. And it's going to sit here in place. My bolt through and just flat spring nut. Using the large bolt, I'm just going to insert it through the top, all the way through. Then just a flat spring nut on there. It's always good if you have a bit of Loctite, put some Loctite on it. So just put both sides on and leave them hand tight. And then I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to install the two bolts that go into the chassis. So just do them all up hand tight as much as you can there. So we've got our rear reinforcements, we've got our chassis reinforcements. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the reinforcements for the wings. So I've got the wing reinforcement bracket and it's just going to sit in place as so. Quite easy, lines up two bolts at the back, two on the side. But I won't be putting those rear ones on at the moment because there's another bracket that marries up with it. I'm just going to put these side ones on for now. So put the two bolts in the side. So this is our second reinforcement for the wings. So you've got two mounting points there that mount up with the bar and two reinforcements that mount up to the side wings. Just in place there. I'm just going to get my nuts and bolts and then just install those. Now all the nuts and bolts are in place. They're all hand tight. I'm just going to level the side of the bar and then go ahead, start tightening up the chassis ones first on the bottom. Two 18s, and then the side wings, then the rear. So this vehicle here, this 200 series, has a long-range ARB tank installed. So just a peace of mind that the Rockarmor wool carrier does fit with a long-range rear fuel tank. So just to recap, we have our rear support bracket. Now we're not using this support here because this is for the later model vehicles. So if you have the later model 200 series, you'll be using this bracket here. Underneath the chassis there, then the wing support has the mounts on the side of the bracket, on the wings, and on the rear. Now that that's all in place, I'm going to go around and do my wiring. I'll just run through all the whites will be our earths, so that's our negatives. The black wire is our reverse, the yellow is our indicator, the red is our brake light, and the brown is my park light. So I'm going to go through now and wire all these up. If you're not too handy with the electrical, just get your auto electrician to come out and get them wired up. Once I'm wired up, I'm going to go through and do my bumper cut and get the arms on. Okay, so the 200 series has a bar cut. So basically what I'll be doing, I'm going to be cutting just underneath that lip there, right around the back, and just underneath the rear light. But just for the sides, I'm just going to measure now the vehicle to get my distance in these 3 points and then run my line across there. So I'm just measuring that. I have 305. I'm going to cut it at 300, just give myself that little bit, but always give yourself about 10 mil just for the flex. And then measure it on your bar. Just going to get my 3 points, then run a straight line right across, and then cut the bottom of the bumper off. Now, as the saying goes, measure twice, cut once. I've got my line all the way around. I'm just going to start cutting the bar and then finish it off with some pinch welds. So I've done my bumper cut just on the bottom there. This is a reinforcement plate for the step. I'm just going to removing this lip just so the bar sits flush with the hook area. So I've got my bumper cut in place there. I just need to cut around this little reinforcement section there. So just measure that. And then I'm going to take it off and just cut this little section out. This is going to be covered with the step. So I've cut off these 2 lips, but I'm also going to cut off, you see how the bar tapers out? So where it starts to taper out from this section to there, I'm just going to remove that section because that interferes with our checker plate. So it's roughly 10 mil right across the front. I'll be taking off, and then I'm going to cut off this little section that I've marked out here, and I'm going to put some pinch weld on it, and we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm just putting the rear step back into place there. And then I put my 10 mils back into the body of the vehicle. And you can tighten all those up, then we're going to put the plate on. So that's the bar all in place, all ready to go. Now I've just got the arms to put on and away we go. So just reinstalling the mud flaps. When I removed them, I didn't remove the inner section. I only removed just these 4 or 5 on the outside. So I'm just going to put these back into place there. 3 mounting points on the bar just there. So I'm just going to get the bar back into place there. Fold the bottom section in, drill 2 holes and mount it with a nut and bolt. Okay, so I've got the arm here laid out. Inside the kit, you're going to find these NSK bearings, made in Japan. They're really good bearings. So there's 2 per side, the large one for the bottom and the small one for the top. We've got our little dust cap for the bottom, and we have our washers for the top, the bottom, with our caster nut, our split pin, and our top cap. So just to get started, take the cone from the larger bearing, and we're going to just set it into the bottom there. Just sits in there nicely. And then we're going to grease up our bearing with marine grease. So Bill will show you in a sec how to grease it up, but basically we just put the grease in your hand, and we're just going to walk like just step it around and grease it up. Put it in place there. Large washer on the bottom, just under that. Then we have our dust cap, and that just sits in there as so, and the arm's ready to sit onto the vehicle. Once that's on, we'll set our top cone in. So it's going to be in reverse, top cone in, with the bearing on top, with the washer on top of that, and then our caster nut's going to go in place with a split pin. So we'll just grease these bearings up now. All right, so the arm's all greased up there. Set it in place over the arm. Then just set the top cone in and then insert the top bearing. Now I've got the arm in place. Just going to put the gooseneck in place there. Just slots in. So there's two settings on the gooseneck. So it can sit further in or you can have it sitting out a bit, depending what the use is. And then with the large bolts, with the washer, just put those all on there. Now, when tightening up the gooseneck, level it up and tighten the sides, but not all the way, and then tighten the top and just make sure it's sitting level because there is a little bit of movement there. So get it level, then just tighten it all up. So we have the number plate light with the jerry can holder, so you can just slot it through. Mounts up quite easily. Here we've got, I've got the Rockarmor wool carrier all fitted up nicely to the vehicle here. Really nice finish on the 200 series. Tell you the truth, the colour coding has really set it off on this vehicle because the customer's got the front bar work already colour coded with the rear colour coded. It really sets it off, it looks good. Customer's going to be absolutely happy. Now we've got the dual jerry can holder there. That's an option if you guys would like to purchase it. If you guys got some trips where you're going to be carrying that extra fuel or water, just let the customer service team know so you can get one of these fitted to your vehicle. We also have the telescopic light post at the back here, which is just installed right onto the arms there. So also, if you'd like one of those, just let the guys know and we can fix one up for you guys. So as you see there, comes complete with your indicators, brake, park, reverse lights. We've got the factory towing there, so it doesn't reduce any of our towing capacity. But what I like most about the Rockarmor wool carrier is how easy it is to access the vehicle with this lock latch system. How's that? So easy to open up, swing it open, locks into place, just lift the pin, just closes like a car door. That's how easy it is. Now we have the safety pin there. If you are doing a lot of corrugations or some heavy off-roading, I recommend just put the safety latch in there. And that's just a piece of safety, a safety feature that we've added with the Rockarmor wool carriers there. So this vehicle is ready to carry up to 35-inch tyres. Like I explained before, the larger stub axle giving us that extra weight to carry on the rear of the vehicle. We've got the really nice cut right around there. We've kept the factory step on there, just sits on the checker plate. Overall, it's a really good finish, really good fit. The customer's going to absolutely love it. And this vehicle is ready now to hit those tracks. Any tracks that the customer wants to go, it's ready to tackle. Guys, thanks for watching. This is Big T. Keep watching for more of my content and I'll see you guys on the tracks.